Joining me now from France 24's Environment Desk is Valerie de Kemp. Hello, Valerie. So first of all, tell us a bit more then about these shocking findings.
Right. So we've known for a while that air pollution kills, obviously, but we're now beginning to understand how, the link between air pollution and heart attacks, lung disease, and other illnesses is only the tip of the iceberg. So scientists are now uncovering new evidence of the scale of the crisis and how it affects children in particular. So this report provides consistent evidence of a correlation between air pollution, ear infections, obesity, insulin resistance in children, asthma, or even cancer. But more importantly, it shows how pollution can harm our health from a very young age and how this can have lasting consequences for adults later in life. So, for example, this report revealed that pregnant women exposed to polluted air are more likely to give birth prematurely and have small, low birth weight children. These newborns obviously will grow up and they will face a greater risk of developing chronic diseases, for example. We also heard in the report just now that children are more vulnerable to air pollution because they live closer to the ground, where pollution can reach peak concentrations. But we also know, and we know this from the report, that children breathe more rapidly as well. So they they absorb more of this pollution. And what's really dangerous is that they become exposed to this toxic air when their bodies and brains really are still developing. So what's really crucial, what we learn from this report, is that it's not just physical. It's not just the physical symptoms. Their neurodevelopment and cognitive abilities are also affected. So this is really the critical point of this report. Earlier today, a WHO official said, and I quote, "Imagine that our children will have less cognitive IQ. We are talking about putting at risk a new generation of having a reduced IQ. This is not only new, but terribly shocking."
I'm sure there are a lot of parents out there who are extremely worried, particularly by that figure of 600,000 children dying because of pollution every year. So what advice would you give them?
Right. I mean, first of all, it's important to note that there's a lot of inequality when it comes to being exposed to air pollution. In low and middle income countries, for example, 98% of children under 5 are exposed to fine particle levels above WHO guidelines. And in richer countries, for example, in Europe, 52% of children under 5 are exposed to dangerous levels of pollution. So really, depending on where you are born, children will be exposed to different kinds of pollution, different sources of pollution. And perhaps what's really frustrating is that there's little parents can do. And the report is very straightforward on this. We need global policies. Getting rid of fossil fuels is obviously the obvious answer, the obvious measure, but there are all other things that we could do. For example, better waste management, reducing the amount of waste that is burned close to communities, but also schools and playgrounds could potentially be located far away from the sources of air pollution, like busy roads, factories, and power plants. So these are the more immediate short-term measures.
All right. Thank you very much indeed, Valerie.